paying attention, sorry. We'll just have to share. Or you always can zip away, you have that ability. Not as cool as you.
Our whole team's right here.
So let me know if you want to give it up. You can understand you don't want a gold stabilizer. I mean, it's not that cool.
I shot down a cargo bot.
Ran right past me.
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 3.
I need it.
If you have wingman, let me know. Peacekeeper. You want to push in there into the factory? I need an armor. Any armor? Yep, right here. I hit him like 70. Oh!
Look out, grenade.
He's broke. Two of them. He's broke, he's going right here. I already knocked one.
Grenade.
Throwing.
Wow, looks like that was
Got him?
one of the squad.
Alright, nice. You get the bang? I think he's on another team. Knocked. Okay. It's hiding. Somewhere. He's crawled. Crawled away somewhere. Nowhere.
What? The ring is far.
Maybe out here.
5
That place
is
was
here.
real high.
Level 2.
Nice.
The ring isn't very close. 45 seconds.
The energy ammo, let me know. You just threw it down. I'm gonna peek up here real quick.
Let's go this way.
We're somewhere. There's somebody here hiding somewhere.
The ring's close. 10 seconds.
Not exactly sure where, but...
Help drone if you need it.
Oh, right here.
Target
Where we came
spotted.
from. It's healing.
Rings moving.
Oh my gosh.
Recharging my shield.
Another team pushing in. Oh. Can't believe this guy just killed me, dude. Yeah, it's not a very good weapon. Yeah, you definitely made matters worse. I had no chance. I saw him. I posted myself on top of the box to shoot him, and his friend was just watching and lasered me. Then I couldn't even do anything.
Safety's off, weapons free.
No get out of free jail card. The oh, Bangalore. Oh, you picked. Dang it! I would have picked Pathfinder. I picked her.
Well, let's just say a little birdie told me all about you.
What?
Well, let's just say a little birdie told me all about you.
I gave up and left, man.
Here we go, ready up.
Yeah, they left. Okay, fine, alright.
Man, they're landing on the shield. One guy totally missed it. He's gonna come in here right away. Close the door, bait him in. Huh?
First blood.
It's okay.
Please always go first.
Like that. Oh, right there, right there.
Round 1, beginning ring countdown.
Where'd he go?
We aren't in the ring. Check your stations.
Dropping at the,
I don't know where he went. It's here. In the center.
Contact.
I got no armor though, so I'm gonna be pushing for a second.
Smoke out.
He's right there, I can't even see him. I'm Bangalore.
Opening fire.
Not by choice.
Frag out.
Yeah, there's like 3 or 4 people in there. Let's just figure out. Alright, I'm going. Come behind me.
Logging a chip. Spotted.
Dude.
Sectors. Another squad is incoming.
Oh, no.
Give me a tech. Recharging shield.
You guys are making a lot of commotion, I just can't see anybody. Dude, are you serious?
Spotted. Reloading. Whole squad taken out.
Wait for a good shot. Wait for a Oh, I was at him.
70. Oh my gosh, 180 is purple. There's so many people here. Hit him for 180. What's up, man? Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry, there was like 4 guys in my headset.
2 of them.
Fusion got destroyed, so I had everybody on my screen. I got destroyed too, though.
Eagle's the one that hit him. I can't.
How can this guy get purple armor and everything? That's sad.
Eagle. Oh. Okay, we got another sniper over here.
No, on the landing, I hit this guy for 180, but it didn't matter. He had purple.
There's 2 of them. Oh, dude, we got a sniper war going on now.
Are you going home, dude?
Oh, he got me again before I could get him. This side.
Had to tell your baby girl it was time for the games.
Well, I'm just gonna throw a smoke grenade.
What? But I love you, Johnny.
I think we're going to do great, friend.
There you go.
There's a win out there waiting for us.
Ooh, scallop potatoes. Oh yeah, that's a southern right there.
Down
This is
one.
your champion. I'm the jump master. This time.
Right.
Here we go. Ready up.
Yeah, it's cool when you get all your stuff set up.
Oh, right here. Tio. They're on top. Jump.
I'm landing up here, dude. Let's just try to stay
It's
together.
good this way.
We just have horrible chemistry. You want that?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm
I got a good weapon already, so
got no armor.
right here.
I got no armor.
Contact with
Like a
target.
million caustic traps.
Contact.
Knocked one.
Enemy down.
Here I go. First blood, and it's not us. Wonderful.
Alright, one team dead. I'm coming. I think he's in the center.
They've laid traps.
Yeah, he's laid millions of traps.
Reloading.
I am taking fire. I am down.
They've laid traps.
Sorry. Oh my gosh!
That's the last of that squad.
I'm coming.
Dimensions
I just beat him down. No! I'm coming. Is he on your body?
Thermite grenade out.
My void didn't work.
Yourself, blame me.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't get any more of them.
Snag everything.
Kovac meta.
Buy stuff, Tigo. Everything.
Is that what you want to do right now? Do you own that? Kovac. I do. It does help a lot.
Oh, we gotta go.
Yeah, it helps a lot. I'm just gonna play that right now. Because you said you want to wait on Johnny, right?
I'll buy you back, man.
Yeah, I don't gotta
Drop right by us.
exit the game or anything. I can just open it with this game. It's like not very intensive.
My shield's neither, Tigo. Let's go over here after. Got 21 seconds to find stuff. Oh.
Have you thought about getting Kovac? It does help. I mean, it's mainly a mouse and keyboard program, though.
Dang it.
What's up, man? How you doing? Man, this is lagging. What's going on? Are you... Just let me know when you're in the lobby. you look at my stream, you can see what it looks like. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Yeah. It does help a lot. Like, it's a better warm-up than the training. How about Johnny and B-Ray? Is he in here? Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, I've only played like 5 games too, and we've died like within the first 2 minutes every time. It's got an error. I got an error. Yeah, the #1 guy in the... What's your KD this season? Yeah. What about yours, Johnny? What's your average damage? What about you, Fusion? Average damage. It's in between both of yours. Yeah. Total wins is 126. What's your total games? Yeah. What's your win rate? If you scroll over total games, it says percentage of total win rate. On 7. Top 5, 457. What's your ranked KD? Yeah. Your ranked kill death ratio, what is it? 1.39. What's your do you have rank series 1? What's your KDR? Oh my gosh. I was trash. You know what it is? My KDR rank series 1 is 0.83. So bad. Just trying to match us. It's 1.39 this season. It would be, see, if I would have never switched the mouse and keyboard back and forth, it would be a lot better. We'll see. I mean, season 5 comes out what, next week? Wednesday? Is this the final week though? So it's April, or it's March 13th.
Excellent. Time to
Yeah, I got my coffee too.
Now romp with me. I'm ready for a match.
Yeah, I got a homemade, so I'm not drinking like something the size of my head. Mine's like a low cup. The coffee? Yeah, I just custom made, just filled up one of those things. Yeah, I just filled up one of those things. What's up?
Losing isn't fun. That's why I don't do it.
I know. Oh, yeah. I'll turn it off right now. I didn't know that, but there you go. You're good. Yeah, I turn it off and on depending on who I'm playing with because I like to talk to randoms. It was diamonds, all diamonds, and the winning champions. Yeah, it's a tough lobby. Go here, I would, or somewhere.
Hold your breath. If you have a respiratory
Yeah, we'll
system,
see. This might actually be good. Yeah. Go there. That's better. Oh my gosh. Oh, that's funny. Going right here. This is a good job for like, if you see a blue bin, let me know.
First blood, and it's not us. Wonderful.
So I can get the extra loot.
Body shield here. Level 1.
Yep. I'm gonna get serious too. Here, I'm gonna open these up here. Blue. There's at least 3 or 4 teams that landed in the back there. So, I mean, we could push, but... I got a charge rifle. I know. It's kind of like... eh.
Supply bin there. New cheerleader. Watch for them.
Oh, right here.
Target spotted.
Almost dropped. I'm running. Almost dropped. Alright. He's dropped. Knocked. Last one. Yep, that's the last one. Nice, good job.
Whole squad down.
Good job.
1 second, we got this.
All good. Just a scrape.
Oh, she's got it too.
1 minute. Rings nearby.
He died right here. They both had purple armor. Wow.
Shield here. Level
Surprised
3.
they lost that.
Ring's not too far. 45 left.
Medkit here.
Thank you.
Just upstairs. 1 second. Not far from the ring. Half a minute.
Yeah, they didn't see me coming down the hill. I hit him with the nades and then popped that kid. And then he bait and switched with me good right there. You finished him off.
Patching myself up.
Oh, nice, nice. What I need.
Hemlock here.
You want heavy?
Warning. New movement in progress.
Target over there.
Yeah, fusion's up there alone.
Hostile over there. Target spotted. Incoming care package.
Blue armor down there. You need to swap.
Or this way.
He's in here. Thought so.
Dropship coming in.
Oh, let's not push that. Let's not push that. That was gonna be a bad
Hostile
push.
spotted. Enemy spotted.
Yeah. Right here. This is a
Ultimate accelerant here.
kind of in a rotation point. I think we should pull back, dude,
Let's explore this way.
because they're gonna rotate in from over here, and then they're already pushing that. You got a devotion? Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do that. Because we're in a bad rotation point. See how many teams are there though? There's literally 3 teams just died, and another team's still there. They're still fighting. I dropped some down here on the bottom part down there.
Let's go this way.
Right on the bottom bin down there. Alright. Wait for the ring to get here. Still 15 teams.
Target over there.
Alright, I'm just gonna go right
Might
here.
be something good this way.
Target spotted.
Yeah, they're setting up there. Yep, they're there. They're going. They're pushing in. Here, I can try to get you a purple.
Calling in a lifeline package.
Arcstar out.
Yeah, be careful.
Frag out.
Are y'all pushing? I didn't know you were gonna push.
Shot.
Firing.
Thermite grenade out.
Reloading.
Coming. I stuck him, I knocked him.
Enemy down. Enemy taken out. Just getting my shield to recharge. Enemy taken out.
They're getting pushed, Pull back. Oh, no, I didn't want to take this. No! Why did it? I'm going through, dude. If you just nade it. You can. Just run. Yeah, I'm going. Where's me?
Healing up. Eyes are open though. This won't hurt. Hold on.
I'm gonna kind of get back up a little bit.
Dennis,
Oh, they're up here.
let's go this way. Fast with that shield. Patching myself up a bit.
All right, we're good. We're good. Let's just play for placement.
Charging my shield.
They're on top of where we were, dude. Yep. Yep.
Friends, recharging shield.
It appears that intelligence is just a word to you.
Yeah, it's because we're at a rotation point. Once we gave up our higher ground. Y'all are good though. They're not even concerned with y'all. There's 2 or 3 teams fighting there. Can you get my, you think you can get my banner? They're sending down a drone. Oh no. You gotta get out of there now. You gotta run. Yep. You gotta run though. You gotta get out of there. You're gonna have to portal. They're getting pushed by another team now. I would just keep running if you can, Fusion. Just get out of there. Alright. Nice. Yep, they're chasing y'all. One's chasing y'all, at least a Pathfinder. He's running too, so just keep running. Fusion can...
I can see that the ring's moving on the map.
Just call me in, yeah. You're not gonna get another chance. You're right, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Just run though, right away, just run. Don't be concerned with me. Yeah, just run. They're coming, they're on the zip line. But you can, I think the best choice though is to balloon.
Remember that.
I'm ballooning.
Patching myself up.
They're shooting at me. Open. I have been down.
Recharging my shield.
I'm running, Johnny. I'm going this way. You could push the outside of the ring where I just went in the air. Even if, or don't fly, but if you just want to walk, that's a pretty clear way. Yeah, our best thing here is the ring rotation, stay on the outside, push around ring. That's how it's gonna be, so you know, to get used to it. Everybody in these lobbies is better than you or as good as you. So either fighting up here. Our best chance here is honestly just to get in the ring right here. Oh. Oh, I shouldn't even have done that. That was such a bad choice. Chasing.
Just a sec. 1 second.
He's dead. Nice, nice, good job. He's got a whole team though. Oh no. What? He didn't even make a sound. Yeah, he didn't. Dang it. I saw him as soon as you got me. I was like, no, but he didn't make a sound. You're right. It's okay. Should have just camped in that building though. That was my fault. I shouldn't have pushed out there like that. That was good though. We did that. That wasn't bad. Top 10. You know, all predators and diamonds. Yeah, I'm sure. 54 kills on her brand new account she made an hour ago. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, yeah. I'm sure 54 kills. That's what we gotta get good at, though, is the ring rotation. Like, Fusion, you went into the ring, and that's why you died. Everybody's watching for your streak. And then Johnny did the same thing, though. He went into the ring instead of staying along the outside. And that's why he got ripped. He didn't want to fly, but there was people already waiting there. Got to rotate the outside of the ring edge into the next ring on the far point. If we're... Right. But we were so far behind because the ring just collapsed that it was a good point of doing it. Is where if you do it like in the early stage where we were earlier, then that's a good play. But we gave up our position, which is in part, you know, we got the kills, but we gave up our positioning to get those kills earlier. And we were in that battle for like 30 seconds, which every other team was already there. Yeah, you were fine. I mean, right. And he should have, yep, he should have made a big noise. I mean, he's Pathfinder standing up there, dropped from the ceiling, but he made no noise. Yeah, there's something wrong with the walking, so we gotta, I guess, just gotta be careful and dependent on here walking, cause it's not working.
Time to move. Oh, that's
Well, yeah,
so whack.
you gotta be, you just gotta play passive.
Someone's out there looking for you. They'll find you if you let it.
This is your champion.
It's okay. Just keep playing consistent. I mean, the #1 player in the world is an Xbox player, rank-wise. So, I mean, #7 player is an Xbox player. They both came from Xbox, so it's just being consistent. That's all we gotta do is just keep playing, being consistent, and just learning. We gotta learn from every death. And right there, right. There we go, somewhere. It's late now though, that's really late.
Here we go. Ready up.
Okay, we're good. This is pretty clear. Oh, they're way in front of us. Should have just landed on one guy, beat him out. He's almost dead. I missed. He's almost dead. Alright. I got 3 guys on me. choked. Yeah, we're just so far apart. They're all together.
Enemy down.
They're low too. Did you get the... Yep, he's the weakest. He's the weakest. Everybody else, I don't know what they what they got. Here, Fusion, can you res me? Nice, nice, nice.
Need to recharge my shield.
Nice, knocked him.
Enemy taken down.
Here, can you res me quick? I can heal us.
Don't worry, I'm here.
He's rushing. Nice, nice. Nice job. The new team.
Contact with target.
New team. I choked. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, because again, we didn't land together. The fight's longer than 20 seconds, you're dead. Every time. They all landed together, that's, you know, and we killed them because individually overall we had more skill. But I know it seems like it's too passive, but 20-second battle, in and out, in and out, in and out. And if it's not, then you just gotta run. That's what happens. Because this is not World's Edge either. That's the thing. This is King's Canyon. This is much, 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 much smaller. I think that World's Edge is over 150% bigger than King's Canyon. It's like 3 times the size of King's Canyon. And with that last update, they broke up the map a lot with the magma and the harvester, all that kind of stuff. It's like a lot harder to travel around quickly. And they did that for the purpose of third partying. I'm gonna play Watson. That will help us too. No, you play Wraith. Yeah. Yep. You just play Pathfinder, dude. You'll be better. My opinion. Yeah, Gibby is... He's a hard character, dude, Gibraltar. He's a good character, but you have to be like Helljumper, I think, and play him all the time. I just don't... Do you want to play Watson? You'll play Gibraltar, but not Watson? No, you're good, you're good. Just stay Pathfinder, because I've played Watson a lot, so I can set us up good. He's like, what, dude? Don't question your main, you're good, brother. Commit to him, commit to him. You're happy, too, you see that smile. Well, he's definitely my main. I have almost 10,000 kills with him. Because I haven't played that much this season. I have played, I think I have like 300 games less than you, and only in the past 3 weeks, really, since I met you, have I even been playing a lot. Because when my rank squad last half of the season got offline, Tigo started playing Warzone, and Eraz just couldn't play. I just didn't want to play this game. But now you gave me a purpose, so... Aim.
I'm not afraid. I'll never be.
Yep. Yep. I got in that habit too, ever so often, where you could just hip fire, and you're aiming and you're sitting still, and they laser you instead of just hip firing, and you could be hitting them as much and moving.
Don't blow a fuse.
Just if we get in a battle, I'm locking it down. So just play around me.
Hey, that's me.
I've played Watson a lot in ranked, so I know how to use her. And if we don't use her abilities, like actually locking stuff down, then she's pointless to play. Alright, 6 teams, all the... Alright, well we're gonna need to. I mean, if we want to get above top 10 in these lobbies, crap.
Let's make a choice. Land here.
Hold your breath if you have to breathe.
Okay. Cool with me. I'm gonna land outside then. I'll leave y'all. Oh, you're gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna loot everything outside. Y'all can get everything inside. And two, it'll give me the ability to watch outside so that someone comes. Alright, so I'm gonna start playing Watson then. Yeah, I used to play her. I played her when I got to Diamond, so
Not all of us are inside the next
I don't mind playing her. Watson or Pathfinder? See, if Fusion's not here, I'd play Pathfinder. But... Why you say ouch? Huh? How's that hurt your feelings? I don't mind. Sure, you like the character playing.
First kill. On the bright side, it wasn't us.
I say. Oh yeah, I got. Are you talking about the slim body one? Yeah, that's the one I have. Is there a wingman out here? Hey, Do you have the red one? Here, check it. Here, you can take it. I'll scan it for you. Trade me. With the grenade, boy. Oh, you like that? They go grenade.
Shotgun right in the... Oh,
What do you want to do? Okay. See, when we rotate to a ring's edge now, we can lock it down, so... Have that ability before. Yep. It's good. It's a good idea. We're gonna try to do the plays.
I'm thinking. The fence is complete. Putting down a fence.
Ultimate accelerant here.
Nice.
Knock. Extended light mag here. Level 2.
Flatline here. Dibs.
Ultimate accelerant here.
Never mind.
He does sight.
10 seconds. The ring is fairly close.
Find a sight, let me know.
Knockdown shield. Optics here.
There we go.
Close range.
Let's explore this ring.
Yeah, someone did land over here. The lower ranked team.
Rings coming in.
Okay. Grabbing the sight quick.
Level 2.
Yep, I see him.
Optics here.
Right here.
Spotted an enemy.
Did you hit him? He's right here.
Firing.
Knocked.
Reloading. I downed an adversary.
Took out an enemy.
He's got gold.
Just topping off my shield.
All right, let's go. Let's get it. We need that. We need that.
My shields are recharged.
It's already 2v3, so we should win this. Yep, good.
Here I go.
Yeah, we already killed him. He's running. Nice. Gold?
That was the last one.
And has gold.
Bye-bye, squad.
Nice work. You're good.
Not sure.
Recharging shields.
Healing my wounds.
Alright, good. You set your portal, right? I'm getting back up there.
Watch out for the new kill leader, friend.
Where's your portal?
Portal here.
Okay, I'm going back up. Yeah, I hate that thing. Yeah, I don't like the R301 at all. Me. Alright, let's go up here and set up in here.
We should move here.
We're already set up pretty good.
No more stones. Setting a fence. Anyone passes through here, you'll know.
It's really not though, dude. It's just, it's not, it's playing how you have to play. It's a Diamond Predator teams, like,
Laying fences. Anyone passes through here, you'll
Yeah.
know.
you can push out and get a kill, but you get wrecked. So the ring closes. We can rotate.
Setting a
Yep.
fence.
Just like
Fence them
that.
in, fence them out.
Yep. Yeah, she gives you a sense of security.
Laying fences. Anyone passes through here,
Those are just
you'll
my
know.
things. Alright. No, that was my things blowing up.
And fences.
Alright, we're good. Uh, 12. I'm full right now. Which ones? Right, yeah, they have to stop.
Let's go this way.
We might be able to, but probably shoot them first. It's almost here, we can move soon anyways. Remember when you used to be able to have 3? Yeah, you could have 3 before. They changed it, you can only have 1 now. Or 2, yeah, you could have 2, I think. You can only have 1 now, I think, though. I think if I plant another one, that one will blow up. Alright. Push. There we go, this way.
Explore this way.
Let's go here.
You wanna go that way? Okay. I just kinda wanted to rotate, like, on the edge,
Allons-y.
and then push in. Close. If you wanna go that way, we can, I don't care. Can you take us, we can go around? This way?
We should move here.
Yeah. And that's actually a better spot. Much more. You can even rotate though through here down into I don't want to go in the valley, honestly. I'd rather get up here. Careful though, this is a hot spot for teams already being. I think I can. Try.
Heavy ammo here.
Yeah, I can go right here.
Bank in position. The circuit is complete.
Okay.
Havoc here.
Fence placed. Fence them in. Fence them. No more storms. Planting fences. And fencing.
All right.
Fence in position. Playing with fences. Planting fences. The circuit is complete.
All right. I don't even want anyone to know we're in here, honestly. Just gonna stay in here. Because this is a rotation point. They're gonna push into cage.
Let's go that way.
And since we haven't seen people, I would guess most people are on this side of the map.
Allons-y.
You know, like market. Probably, yep, down there. They are.
Care package coming in.
Yeah, you are. You're not moving. No, we can't see your animation. I know what you're talking about. I think we can push out. We're good. Push down here. I think they were down here.
Let's go that way.
Target over there.
Right here.
I spotted an enemy.
Great. Already inside the ring.
Cage.
Firing. Reloading.
You want to put us on top?
This way. Let's go.
Could put a zip line up there. What do you want to do? Very dangerous. Push. Yeah, see, now we already are distracting everybody. We can get back in our our hole.
Recharging machine.
Well, we have a way out now, at least, or at least they don't feel too safe up there now, I would say, because they can see that, you know. And now they know somebody can land on top of them, at least. So. Huh? They're all rotating in now. We do need to get out of here, though. We're not in the ring.
The ring is in close proximity.
Okay, we push out.
1 minute.
Yeah, they're definite. They even put one up here, look. He's going up there right now. Ooh, that boy got ripped.
Reloading. Repairing.
Say we rotate maybe down
Let's go
here.
that way.
Go down here. Yeah. Let's rotate. They're just waiting, dude. If we take that thing, they're gonna absolutely laser us.
Recharging my shields.
Say this rotate, come on. Go down here.
Move here.
Yeah, there's a building right there. Right here. We're good. Okay, safe here. For the time being.
If the fence gets crossed, we'll know.
Good, we're inside.
Alright,
Fence
we're
in
locked
position.
down here, so.
Sesame Kimita. And fencing.
Alright,
Fence in position.
this whole place is
Anyone
locked,
passes through
so
here, we'll know.
should be safe. Oh, we're in the ring too. Like, again. Yeah, anytime you can use those beacons, Fusion, do. Because it's very beneficial to know where the next ring is going to be. Yeah. I'm not shooting at anybody. He's recharging though. Can recharge too in here, don't forget, with my thing. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that behind us back here?
Come on, this way.
Giving my shields a recharge.
Up there? We're in a really good spot, so let's just hold this. Make sure we watch the bottom of this hill.
This way. Let's go.
Team rotating up. There's definitely a team somewhere. They probably did. NRG Simpu. There we go. Perfect.
Shields are charged in the air. We're inside the ring. We're safe.
Yeah. I'm playing like I'm a Diamond 3 and I'm only at Platinum. It's funny. Sweaty doesn't matches. See where we're at. Ooh, we're in a good spot, boys. Alright, and as soon as... So, next place we will drop... Is this...
We should move here.
We're gonna go right here. When the ring... I'm gonna plant my thing right here. Or no, one sec.
Allons-y.
Trying to see. I'm gonna plant right here.
Let's go that way.
So when we get down, I'm gonna plant right there and set up.
Let's go this way. Never mind.
Spotted.
So just be ready. Okay, there's 6 teams, so I'm gonna set up right here
Let's go
when
that way.
when it rotates. Right away.
Great. The ring is close. Less than a minute.
I'm just gonna jump down.
The enemies are shooting at me.
Okay. It's a wrap. They're shooting out my stuff. Alright, get ready.
Just starting up my shield.
Get ready. Ring's closing. Alright, get ready. Is that your portal?
Need to recharge my shield. Ring
You getting down here?
setting a portal.
Combat's too noisy. Shush now.
Where?
The
okay. It's okay. Let her. Here. We're good right here. Right here. Where? We're good. I got this for the airstrike. Hold this. Oh, whoa. I'm healing. Here. Rush him. Nice. Okay. Yep. We're good. I blew up my thing. Let's go down here, Johnny. We're fighting. Right here. Laser this guy. On the roof. Look on the roof, right here. Alright, I'm nading in there. I threw a nade. He's right here. 47. I think we go right here. No, go right here. I need to heal. That's where, go to this rock. Just go to this rock. I'm gonna set up on it. Can you portal? Or you don't have your portal again, do you? Alright, just go to that rock. That's enough cover there. Alright, I'm going. To the left. Whole team. I'm down. I'm good. I got soul frizz. Just protect me if you can. They're on top of us. Nice. I'm healing.
Recharging my shields.
Oh. No, he's not. Johnny, it's me and you versus him. Up there. Challenge him. He's low. You got him. Nice! Let's go, boys! Beat the pros, boys. Let's go. Watson, dude. She's the play, man.
You are the Apex champions.
It was Watson, dude. No, it wasn't. It was Watson, and it was how we rotated on the ring. Because they couldn't push us. That's why. Because every time Watson, it's just, you know, and we had good positioning. If we would have set up in the cage, we would have been dead. But we're in the perfect place. That place is so good where we were. Like, you can't push from anywhere. Yeah. No, he was good, dude. He lasered me like 180 in one shot, one clip. That name guy, that was a pro. See that though? Slow rotation. They couldn't though, that's the thing. Like we were just in a good position to where if anybody was to challenge us, they would have put themselves in the open. And we had all the fences, you know? There we go, boys.
All it takes is a single spark.
Your name is Ray. You have a job to do.
Those are the games though like that we have to get win or get top 3.
Get ready. I'm coming for you, friend.
Yeah. Yeah, this is these are gonna be like goat lobbies, okay? Every time. Peacekeeper Wingman, that's the combo. Yep.
Got a good feeling about this area.
Wherever Fusion wants to drop.
Hold your breath. If you have
We're
a
good at this
respiratory
point.
system,
Right. Well, it means they were Predator at once, so. Oh yeah, I know a lot of people who did that even to get into Diamond. I did not do that ever. People were telling me like, yeah, I alt F forward, and I'm like, dude, why would you do that? You cheated to get your rank.
Attention. First blood.
I mean, even if you pay someone to boost your account, at least you're having somebody with that skill level get that level of rank for you. But alt F4 and totally cheating, that's...
here I go.
Man, I can understand, okay, you do it once, but like 20, 30 times? Some people are doing that.
Charge rifle here.
I think you just go with what you had last time. Yeah.
Grappling.
Yes. Just going with what I had last time. If I find a PK. Wingman. I like the PK Wingman because if you are people on you.
Fire, friends. Firing.
Run, run, run. Are you good? You got her. Alright, alright, alright. Run, run, run. We're here, we're here. He's good, he's good. Let's just keep pushing, let's just keep looting.
This way.
We need more loot anyways.
The ring is quite far. There is not
Hey!
much time left.
Have it here.
Are you kidding, dude? You give me such a bogus thing.
Let's go this way.
Come on.
Heavy ammo here.
Alright.
Ultimate
I want
accelerant.
that Peacekeeper.
Ultimate accelerant here.
Attention. The champion has been eliminated.
Champion out.
I think the Havoc's better than the R301 right now. I mean, if you get the Select 2, it has a single shot. I mean, which can do 40 to 60 damage every time.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 3.
That thing right now is broken. They already announced they're gonna nerf it.
Need to go. Ring's moving.
Recharging shields.
It's so good though, especially with Wraith. I was playing a DUOS match using that thing, just
R99.
Light ammo here.
and just wreck. Alright, we gotta head in. Probably try to cut us off. Let's just head to the right.
Here. Allons-y.
So we don't run into them. We do not want to battle them ring's edge. You got zip line? Can you get us up there?
We should move here.
Incoming care package. I love loot. Line deployed.
No. If I was them, I would try to like meet us. So like push in, you know what I mean? Try to meet us, like catch us. Whoa, 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 whoa. Run, run, run. Can you get away? You good?
Giving my shields a
Okay.
recharge.
I'm healing. Are you fighting them?
Punching a tunnel.
Can you get away? Oh, dang it. Alright,
Recharging shields.
get up here.
I'm also stone. Think taste. If the fence gets caught up,
Launch start.
Okay.
Just us left.
Wow. It's a wrap, dude. You should have ran. We're dead. Healing. The wrap. I should have just thirsted the robot. Should have just kept running. Shouldn't have paused. Or if we were gonna fight, we should have set up right away. I just didn't know what y'all wanted to do. Alright. I think you double questioned yourself. I think your fight mentality comes out and then you realize like, well, this could be a full predator squad. And I just might want to run. Well, it's too late.
Have fun. Don't die.
Next time if we're like that, just let me know, like, so I can set up. I'll set up right there. If y'all want to fight, I'll set up. I could have locked
how
down the...
about no power?
Yeah.
My name is Ray. We have a
Yep.
job to do.
Because we had a high probability of we could have won that.
This is your champion.
I actually like this, dude. I like playing people that are better than me.
I'm the jump master. I lead the way.
It's actually encouraging because I want to get a lot better, and this is the only way to get better.
Test me. I encourage this.
You can't beat the view from
Yep.
up here. We should move here.
We're good. Don't see anybody. I got nothing.
Accelerant here.
Flatline
Yeah.
here. Energy ammo here.
I don't think anybody landed by us. Maybe in Skulltown
First blood.
or Thunderdome.
New kill leader.
Round
Yeah.
one.
Watch for them.
Beginning ring countdown.
Next ring's I'll start here.
Yep. Alright. Yeah, come on. I'm here. Fusion. Yeah, we need more loot anyways. Fusion doesn't even have a shield. They're here, they're here. Get ready, get ready. I don't see them, but I see boxes open. Let's just get up top. Here, there's a shield right here, Fusion.
Body shield here.
so we can see them. I see all the bins open, but I don't see anybody.
Main fence. If the fence gets
All right,
crossed,
this
we
is
know.
here, so
Supply ship over there.
they're on there.
Hey,
Here they are.
over there.
They're right here. Yep.
Enemy over there.
Oh, they're getting pushed. There's another team back here, or he's running. Not sure. Yeah, let's go. Let's just keep moving and keep looting. Because this is unlooted.
Let's go here. Allons-y.
So
R99.
that's what I want. I want that. I want that.
Here.
Please.
Level 2.
Well, we can always hit the balloon,
There's a jump
so
tower over
I think
there.
we're fine.
Making contact with enemy.
They're there. Okay. What do you want to do?
The ring's closing in a minute. We're not close.
Hostile over there. Shooting at me.
Alright, well, they're up.
My shields are recharged. The ring.
Recharging my shield.
I am repairing myself.
Got ripped. Yeah. We're up.
Like winter. Just avoidable.
See, they're gonna get third party now. That's what we have to do though. Cause see, they're gonna get pushed and one team's gonna die. Well, you have to get top 5 though to get points in Diamond. Oh, him as a solo? Yeah, I mean, you can do whatever now. Right. Yeah, just do whatever you can. I thought you were just saying in general. Like, we always, every game, we need to play for top 5. But right now, being solo, it's a wrap. It was just their response. See, like, we just double guess. Like, if we see somebody and we just, the thing is, if we engage this early, then we just gotta know it's gonna probably be a third party, you know? We can engage. Yeah. Yeah, it's a wrap. Could res us. If you res us right here, we'd be good. Yeah, get us back. Yep. Say. Looking. We're good. As far as behind us. Not sure what's gonna come in front of us, but.
Watch the sky. Flyer out there.
Hit him.
Go this way.
Dropped it.
Using grapple.
Nice job, man. Nice recovery. It's clutch. Yeah, I got only Mozambique. I don't got any heals. Yeah, we're really far. I have no heals.
Here I go.
Yeah, dude.
I've got an
It's
eco
kind of
shield
every
here.
man for himself at this point.
Level 1.
What?
Backpack here. Level 2.
Oh, nice. Nothing. That's what I got. I got nothing. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Better than what I had.
Eyes are open though.
R99, no shield. Should've got that Evo. Going right. Let's rotate right.
Let's go here.
Over here.
Allons-y.
I am repairing myself.
Yep. I got no heals.
Hey, we're spread out a lot. Look at the map.
I got dual R99s.
Patching myself up.
Be better than dual R99s. Can you tell me if there's a... I'm just going in. And Tashin. We're probably playing together. For armor? What I'm really interested in.
Repairing.
Serious, dude? These are trash. There's nothing here. Aha, yes.
Patching myself up.
What? You're good. Get us up here. Right here. Or,
Who's ready to fly on the zip line? I am.
Patching myself up.
oh, right here.
We should move here.
Do a teleport there. You get up here? Oh, dang it.
Healing my wounds.
We're not want to get down, but you could get it, Fusion. I mean, we'll watch you. You're the best character to get it.
There's a new kill leader.
You're nuts. You're nuts, dude. Dude, TSM has won more tournaments than anybody in Apex. Dude, that's like comparing Goliath to Goliath Senior. TSM, Emperor, Hal. Yeah, Ace is good, but NRG does not place well at events. I killed her on the stream, and then her whole stream joined me last week. And then Celestial Esports sent me I'm communicating with a guy from there. Yeah, I was a DUOS. She was sliding down the hill. I ripped her. And like 50 people joined my stream. They're like, "Are you on a team?" I'm like, no. Just a dad. Plays on the weekends. Not that good.
Heavy mag here.
Level 2.
Care package coming in. Let's go
You
that
want to
way.
get us up here? 4 squads left. Wow. haven't had a chance.
Already inside.
What do you want to do? Go here?
Let's go that way.
Yeah, I mean... Well, we're gonna have to get kills to win, so... It doesn't matter at this point. We just need to try to get... Oh, he's right here!
The enemy. Recharging my shield.
Oh, no, no. Oh my gosh.
Reloading.
Peeks me. There's no sound though. No sound again. Yeah, that was the... That is the champion. See? Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. That's what I'm saying. See, they killed us, but at what expense? They're all dead now. That's the another team. I don't know. Can't see who it is until they're all dead and this one guy escaped. So he's right here. 1v1. Ooh, that boy said okay. Wanna drop it? I'll drop it. Just start punching him right away. See? Yep. It's really what's going through their head is just they're good. They just practice and practice and practice. I can't do anything about a guy that's moving and I can't hear him and he sees me. Should have just set up on the roof. Oh, you're talking about pushing. That's what I'm saying though, you're talking about pushing and that's what happens. I wasn't trying to do anything though, like with the battle. I just turned the corner and there's a Wraith there and she lasered me. And he... Yeah. Go ahead. Stay in the front of the pack. And we did win. We did win one. So we did get top 3. Again. Didn't get kills, but can't get kills when you're dead.
They call me the Eye of the Storm.
Right. Just need to stay closer knit. Johnny, stay in front. Lead the way. Communicate. And if we go engage, it's one or the other. Either we engage or we don't. That's it. Engage or we don't. Or we're setting up. No debating. We just gotta go with a decision. Because that's what we're doing, like right there. We'll push in and just engage, don't push. Yep. It's good. Means we're at the top, you know? Hey, that's how I look at it. If we see that, that means we're at the top though, you know? I'll look at it. Go here.
We want to land over here.
Hold your breath if you have to breathe.
There's 2 teams, 4 teams on our left. I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're there. Nonetheless.
first blood?
Right here. 2 teams going there. Top. Alright, so on our left side is almost every single team. Alright, so we gotta rotate. Gotta rotate right then. Pull in center. So we gotta rotate right.
Next
Oh.
ring's far.
Really that easy. Yep. Behind you. Y'all should both be in front of me at all times. Yeah. Yep.
Let's fly this way. Heads up. New kill leader.
Here I go.
My loot is so bad. Well, your Reese already has 3 kills, so yeah, your Reese is on his team. He's a kill leader already. Every time I watch that guy, Reese, he's always better than like all the pros, at least as far as kill goes. I don't even know if he's on a team.
Barrel stabilizer here. Level 2. Hostile core. Ultimate accelerant. Shotgun bolt here. Level 2.
1 minute until the ring closes. Could take us a while to get there.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 2.
Far ring. 45 left. Extended light mag here. Level 2.
Yep.
R301 here.
Okay. Need to get up here.
Setting the fence. The fence is complete.
Alright, it's clear up here. Y'all want to get up here?
Heads up. The ring's moving.
Just trying to look for an armor, honestly.
Heavy ammo here.
Attention, delivering care package.
Alright.
The package coming in. Med kit here. Closed door here. Might be something good this way. Got an Evo shield here. Level 1.
Let's push in.
Let's go here. Allons-y.
Alright, we're in a good rotation point here. Keep going on the outside.
Allons-y. Let's go that way.
Good setup up there.
deployed. Fence them in, fence them out. And fencing. Fencing position.
Yeah. Anytime there's above 10 teams, you just need to play super passive. Right now, we just gotta wait for the ring. I think most teams, yeah, they're fighting. Yep. So hockey, Paul.
A champion just fell.
Oh, TTV Sushi. That boy's a beast. He's a PlayStation 4 player. Yeah, came from the PS4. That boy's a beast. He wears the sushi hat on his head. A shrimp. I was watching him. Yeah, that was the whole team. Sushi gave him the dicer. See, that's what I'm saying, dude. They're pushing around, getting kills, and even them, the best players in the world, they're dead. That's how good everybody in this lobby is. Anytime there's above 10 teams, unless we can get the kill right away, we don't engage. If people play 70 hours a week and they still can die that quick, it doesn't matter how much you play. It's at least the conclusion I've come to. You just gotta play passive. Once the ring closes, we can push. How high have you been in Diamond 3 before? So where you were? Where you are currently, really? So you're the highest you've ever been. Now, see, Sushi died. I think those guys might be cheating. The hockey Paul. He killed Sushi and Imperial High.
Attention. Supply ship.
Someone want to look at his stream? Just to see, because those guys are probably cheating. I'd be very surprised if one guy killed... What? Alright. I'm just surprised that if one... Go to Sushi. He's on... I don't know if he streams on Twitch. I know he's on Facebook. Yeah, he killed Imperial High too. Is he saying anything about cheating? I don't think one guy could kill both of them. They're fighting out here. Yeah. Yeah, we can. I'm gonna lock this down, so if we need to run, can you do a support outside of inside of here? You know what I'm saying? So, put a portal from inside of here to the battle. So if we need to come back. Okay. Yeah, he's on Facebook. Yep, let's do it. Pull back. Over here.
Recharging my shield.
Tossing an axe, sir.
Knocked. Oh! Peacekeeper. I knocked the path. He peacekeepered all of us. Yeah, knocked the path. 110. Killed me in one shot. It's okay. We need to... I want to aim always to have a peacekeeper. That's the quickest devastating weapon at close range. So just gonna aim to have a Peacekeeper every time. See, that's